Suddenly, Bob Iger went from, oh yeah, I'm going to sell it, to maybe I'm not going to sell it. Maybe we can actually make something of this here. Maybe we can turn this into a streaming business. Good luck. I mean, already Disney has lost that round to none other than Netflix, and probably Apple as well, because Apple has some really good streaming products. I mean, they get the earnings coming up on Wednesday, and one of the things that people keep saying is, can they actually even compete with Netflix? I mean, that is a big problem. They got dwarfed, pun intended, Barron's rights over the weekend by Netflix. What investors want to be seeing on earnings day? Investors want to see that the parks division and the cruise division, right? That the basically the experiences division is holding up, but they're worried that maybe it can't hold up in light of the economic challenges that we're facing as a nation right now. I don't know how true that is. I'm going to be honest with you. I looked at the visa numbers recently. Rob and I wrote about this actually at 76 Research, and we were talking about how the visa numbers actually looked really, really, really good. And so that was very encouraging to see, because it shows you the U.S. consumer is still spending, and enjoys spending and likes spending, and is going to probably continue spending unless things get really bad. But Disney is already using this as an excuse. Oh, if those park attendance rates are down and therefore earnings are down at the theme parks, they're going to point to the economy, and they're going to say Trump's economy is killing us. And it's the threat of Trump tariffs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So watch for that in the call. I wouldn't be surprised. It doesn't change how investors are going to feel. If we hear that things are bad at Disney and people start selling off Disney as a result, I think that, it's still a bad scenario for one Bob Iger, who has not been able to turn this thing around at all. The other thing that came up in the Barron's article over the weekend, which I think is really interesting, is just how bad a disaster the film entity is. So maybe they ought to sell off the film division as well, not just legacy media, but you guys have you jumped the shark in terms of the film division. And Snow White was phenomenal proof of that. Again, don't forget how they titled this at Barron's. They did say, that Disney's getting dwarfed by Netflix, getting totally dwarfed. But they're saying, one of the reasons for this is because of the challenges they've seen at the film box office with Snow White, which topped $200 million in worldwide box office receipts. And before you say, woohoo, yay, you got to realize, as they write, hold the applause, industry reports say it cost about $250 million to make. I don't even think that includes the marketing, et cetera. I mean, they had a lot going on here and a lot that went into this. But $250 million to make, suggesting that it could need $500 million or more to break even. But after 6 weeks in theaters, ticket sales are down to a trickle. It is a poison apple. In other words, they write, Disney quickly halted Tangled, a live-action remake based on the Rapunzel story. We told you about that right here, right? Because there was no way. When they saw how badly this one was doing, they realized they just couldn't have another bomb, another woke, DEI, nonsensical bomb out there that was not going to fly or play in mainstream America or elsewhere in the world, for that matter. So this film division is under a tremendous amount of pressure, and it doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon. I actually think that maybe the tariff thing will shake things up, and they'll start saying, hey, maybe actually we need to focus on creating movies that people want to watch, because we can't sell our TV assets. We tried. We want to. Right? Bob Iger told, I've played you the soundbite, CNBC's David Faber at Sun Valley some year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I really want to get out of this, businesses that are not the opportunity businesses for our network. They are not ones that are going to be crucial to us in the future. And yet he couldn't. He tried, he couldn't. And so now he's back to square one. He's saying, okay, well, maybe I can change this into some kind of streaming business. And they're all proud because ESPN, I guess, got 200 million views in a recent month, streaming views. Dun, dun, dun. I just want to point something out, you guys. This is really good news. We're up to like 730,000 subs right here on this little channel. I'm not putting out 300 to 400 pieces of content a day like ESPN is. And guess what? We did 98 million views right here on this little channel last month alone. So that means I'm basically half the size of the streaming business of ESPN. I would just say, ESPN, you got a ways to go, but this is fantastic. And this is thanks to you. And this shows you how much things have changed. And maybe it's the individual as opposed to the network, right? That matters in this kind of new world and in this new streaming environment. So, wow, 730,000 subs, 98 million views right here on the Trish Regan channel. It's incredible. And I think that Disney is now sort of in this mode where they're not going to be able to get out of this. I don't know how they change. I don't know how they actually evolve unless they say, okay, we're going to double down on theme parks and cruises and the experiences. And, at some point, you're going to go in, you got to shake up the film division, you got to shake up the TV division, and you got to actually get rid of all the wokeness that is weighing down your business and just look to turn a profit. Is it that hard?